super hectic week, and to sum it all off, this is absolutely some crazy stuff I want to share with you guys today. And I'm getting so many DMs and so many people in my inbox saying, I've been looking for 16 weeks, I'm looking for 16 months for a job, and I just can't find it. And if you do something for 6, 7, 8 months, and you're like, hey, I've been doing this job search for 8 months and I'm getting no results, you're probably doing something wrong. The clear definition of insanity is keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, right? And in today's world with AI, you have all these tools at your disposal, and a lot of people think that, hey, let me just let AI do it. Seems like a genius idea, right? Why wouldn't you? And AI is a great tool to help you come up with, hey, how do I optimize this a little bit? How do I optimize this? And now you're like, what does AI have to do with job searching? So we're going to go over a scenario right now from somebody that is actually working at Microsoft. And this might be the reason why you're not even hearing back. So let's watch.
We are cooked. We are absolutely cooked. A friend of mine interned at Microsoft last summer in Seattle, had a really good time, really good experience, but he didn't get a return offer at the end of the summer. They told him they were going to go recruit people to start full-time in fall 24. And he was like, okay, all right, whatever, sounds good. So fall 23 comes around and Microsoft opens their applications up for fall 24 new grad software engineers. Now, keep in mind, they opened applications for about 30 positions across the entire country. Guess how many applications they got in less than 24 hours for those 30 spots? Take a guess. Take your wildest guess, the highest number you can possibly think of. Go crazy. 100,000. I'm not bullshitting you. I am so dead ass. They got 100,000 applications for 30 positions in less than 24 hours. Actually insane, actually fucking mind-boggling. And the even crazier part in all of this is the fact that apparently it was too expensive to actually look at all the applications. So what they did is instead, they didn't look at a single one, threw out all the 100,000 applications they got, and hired back the interns from that previous summer full-time. And so my friend, who initially didn't get a return offer, ended up getting a return offer.
Oh, how crazy is that? What a crazy story. And now you're seeing why AI might not even be the right tool for you, because you can get AI job search tools all over the internet. You can find them as low as $19 a month. You can find them as low as $19 a day, and it will just mass send out your applications. And I know, some of you guys are gonna say, well, that's how I did it, and that's how I got my job. Well, even a blind chicken can find a worm sometimes, right? And this is not gonna work out for most of you guys. But hey, it worked out for you, great. Let me get you a cookie. But for most of you guys, it's not gonna happen, because the more people are gonna use these services, it's just gonna spam the inbox. It's just gonna fill up the inbox, and everybody's gonna know that it's AI. You can tell, even though AI is getting better and these resources are getting more expensive because they're getting better and better and better, it's just not the same as when you actually have conversations and then network with the people. And so when you're looking at it, it's like, man, 100,000 applications in 24 hours, and there's been some crazy numbers out there. So that is like not even outrageous, because everybody's looking for jobs like this and they just can't find it. And so I'm looking at it like, what do you think this might be? And now I'm asking you in the comments, how do you prevent that? How do you kind of stop that? Because I looked at this tool that I'm keep wanting to buy and I'm saving up for it. It's $12,000 a year. And it basically shows you insights on how people get hired. So if you watch this video and you've enjoyed it so far, click that like and subscribe, and think about joining the community, because it's $2.90 and it would really help me buy that tool for the channel, so we can see exactly who's hiring and where people are moving to, what they have, and we can do some deep analysis. And I would love to do that, but I cannot afford $12,000 a year. So this is why I'm hoping social media can kind of help me out. So what I'm looking at is, okay, with all this going on, 100,000 applications, didn't look at one of them. And I know somebody in the Bay Area that had one internship for AI, some AI tool, and he said he got, I think in a few days, 1,000 intern applications, 1,001 in his mailbox to skim through and see, and they only had one position open, and they're paying, I think, like $10,000 a month. And they said, hey, our interns, we're gonna, after they come out of university, we're gonna give them a job. They got 1,000 applications. They said we had to take the job listing down, and we still keep getting flooded. And he said, yeah, it's absolutely crazy because there's no job out and everybody wants a high paying job because that's just what you need in today's world. And everybody's struggling. Nobody has money and everybody's struggling. And so what do? You just think like, hey, let me come with a genius idea. Let me have the leverage of AI. When I play video games, I have AI do all the heavy lifting. And that is not how you're going to get a job. I'm telling you, this is not how you do it. You got to network. You got to get a project portfolio. You got to talk to the right people. And you got to use the human aspect of it that makes you irreplaceable from AI. Because if you can get a job with AI can probably do your job, right? If you're just going to do, I don't know, something in the office and you get a job with AI, most likely you're just going to be replaced by AI because it's just crazy when you look at all these tasks. AI can like, hey, send out email, summarize this, send it out, and do all these other things. And now you're like, how can I capitalize on it? And now you see that all these people do so you can actually know now how to stand out. Because I'm telling you, having all these tasks, having all these AI people do it, you can stand out. It makes it easier, right? When every resume kind of looks the same, then you can actually kind of know how the resume looks, kind of do something about it and change it so you can then figure out how to optimize it. Because it's so key for you to actually optimize your resume and then figure it out. Because if you cannot optimize your resume and you just let AI do it, then AI is going to tell you exactly what it wants to hear, right? So it's like, oh, I did this and this. And so sometimes AI comes up with the stupidest stuff. Sometimes AI comes up with some random nonsense that's like, why would you even come in here? And I know they're mostly of these large language models and all this other stuff, and they're going to get better. But yeah, it's not the way to do it. This is not the way to do it. So this week it was super interesting because I had my immigration hearing. I got my civics test, passed all that, so I'm going to have inaugurations where I'm going to go in front of the judge and I'm going to get my passport and everything figured out. So that's going to be super nice. And we're launching this week, we're launching the Higher Horizon free career community. I'm going to drop a link below so you can join if you want. And that's actually how you're going to start actually networking, getting a job, and actually use the human aspect of it and not just let AI do its thing and just let it go loose and start rage applying at every job that you might not even be qualified for just because you put in some keywords. So the link's below, sign up, doesn't cost you anything. Just going to be a bunch of professionals. There's right now there's a wait list because we have not officially launched it yet. So if you want to be there, you're looking at it, it's no cost to you. Join. And we're going to have group coaching calls where we're actually going to have people in there. And if you do need resume help, you can then purchase that service or do something or network with other people or get community feedback. And it's not going to be AI feedback. So just something to think about for you. And I'm talking about my series, my entrepreneurship journey in the career, in the community. I'm building this career platform. So if you want to be part of that, again, try to sign up if you want to. And I'm going to have way more cooler content coming. But this week was horrendous with all these fires of rebranding it, of redoing all these stuff, employees, trying to hire people, trying to figure stuff out. And it is just absolutely detrimental to see when you are actually hiring and trying to scale people what actually happens on the back end, what you see. Because I am now growing my company and I'm looking for people and they send you the craziest stuff. They literally send you who knows what is it or something, and you're like, who came up with that? And it is the most, out of privacy reasons, I'm not going to show up, but man, I see some funky stuff. I'm telling you, it's like, you would never work at my company, never ever. I don't know who taught you, but there's been spelling mistakes in their city, in their name, in the Gmail address didn't match up. And the craziest thing is when I then look at some resumes and I match them with LinkedIn, the dates don't even match up. So that already tells me if you do not have the attention to detail to match up your LinkedIn dates with your resume dates, then you're going to be either a horrible employee, you just don't care enough, or I don't know, you let me know, but you just gotta you gotta put the time in. And that's why I started actually believing in career coaching. I used to not think that that's a thing, because I used to do have the time and actually put in the time to actually find a job, to actually network and do the steps. But some people just can't do it. Some people, they send me their resume and they say, can you look it over? And then you look at the first glance, you look at their LinkedIn, and the job description doesn't even line up. So one of them was like head project manager at a company, and then the other one was like project manager. So like, what were you, head project manager, just project manager? And it's these things that somebody that does it a lot will just cut your eye and then be like, okay, interesting, what is going on here? And once you're starting to look at them a lot, you get to know stuff. It's like, once you do it for long enough, you just see it, that this person put the time in. No, you that doesn't do it very often might think, it's all right, they won't tell. But these people like us that do it every day, that deal with resumes every day, I see every day tons of resumes. I see them for people that are trying to apply, and I see from people actually that that I hire. And so I get to see both. I get to see with what they come in and what they send out. And some of them are like, oh gosh, this is not good. And that's why we help. And normally I would have been like, you kind of put it together and you send it out, you make sure that it's formatted right. And some people send you their direct Word document instead of like PDFs. And it's these mistakes where you're like, what's going on? And you can see, it's like, oh my gosh, they put their full, in the United States, you never put their full address on, right? So some people put their full address and you don't know, like you can see where they live, and you can then go on Google Maps and see in front of their house. And it's like, oh man, you live there? Why do you want a job? Then it's starting to be biases, right? Like, you want to work for me when you're living in this $15 million house? Interesting, right? And so you see all these things. And so that's why I was like, our service does have value. Because I first thought, nah, but you got to know these things. And if you don't know these things, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to have issues. And it's like in every industry, I think. If you're a car mechanic, you just start noticing stuff. When you look at it, you just see something's not right. And you can figure it out because you're like, I've seen this a few times. And you could be like, yeah, that must be it. And we're just like, man, these people. And the funniest thing is, a year or two ago, it didn't really matter, because if you have a supply and demand issue where there's not enough people to do the work, then all of a sudden you're like, we will sacrifice a little bit just to get somebody in there. But now we have the complete opposite, where there's a surplus of like super great people, and now you're going to compete with those. And now you're like, why should I hire somebody? Well, because it's not 2019, it's not 2020 where everybody was hiring. Now it is competitive. Now you got to start into the grinding. You got to put in the legwork. You can't send in your resume that got chewed up by your dog and still hope to get an interview. No. And the funny part is, people tell me, I can get a job any day. Yeah, of course you can, but there's just not going to be high paying. You can probably walk into a gas station and see the hiring sign and say, it's $12, $15 an hour. Yeah, and for that, you probably don't need career coaching, or you don't need any service like this, because you just don't, you don't need it. You can just walk in and they're going to tell you, can you count? Can you open up on time? Okay, good, you're hired. And in a provider, in a service world, as a business owner, where you have customers, you have clients, you have SOPs, you have all these protocols, you have all these things that you're trying to achieve, you have all these different tasks going at the same time, you need somebody that can kind of come in and actually look at it and be like, hey, this is what we're going to have to do, and we got to be strategic with our time and all this other stuff. So there is value in that, right? But this is just from an employer perspective, and I love to have the opportunity to see both. So I'm just providing you insights from what I see, because I see behind the curtains, right? I see behind what people trying to put in, and people put in the craziest stuff on the resume, the craziest stuff. So yeah, this is just an absolute crazy time to be alive. People have been telling me, oh, we're in some of the craziest times, and people always say, oh, you got to get into the trades, you got to get into the trades. And some people, yeah, that's a good call. For some people, it might not, depending on what you want to do and how you do it. So you guys let me know what you think, what's going on. If you've seen crazy stuff in the job world, let me know in the comments below. So please share this video, like it, subscribe. This doesn't cost you anything to like my video. I really appreciate it. But 30 positions, 100,000 applications in a matter of no time. It's just crazy, crazy, crazy. I know a lot of you guys are job searching, so consider joining. It's free. And yeah, that is it for this video. I've been super busy building it out, providing resources, and this is the easiest way I can connect with all of you guys and give you guys the time you need. So I'll see you in the next one.